What's up? How you doing, Ron Crow? Feels very empty in here. Oh, there's 7 of us. All right. What's up, Richard?
Feels very empty.
Oh, mute that so we don't get no reverb. Richard just got his. That knife actually doesn't have a name because it was a modified version of something. But I was really tickled to see Richard that excited about it. He seems to be enjoying it. What's up, Marco? Drizzy? I know Ryan is on his way. I'm assuming Kyle's coming tonight. How we doing, Joe Isabella? Eating cheese? Hell yeah. Better eat a little Miralax with that. But anyway, I assume Kyle's coming tonight. He called me earlier, but I was taking a nap. And of course, I jumped in the chat on OCD for EDC and gave me a hard time because I hadn't called him back yet. For those of you who wasn't there for Said Faction Friday night, we had we had several impromptu giveaways, and Ron Crow won a prick, so got to get that out to him sometime this week. I should have several pricks ready to go here soon, but you're more than welcome, Richard. I appreciate you purchasing it, man. How we doing, DH? Good to see you, buddy. Forrest Hanks. I'm not used to seeing you in here, Forrest. That warms my heart, man. I'm glad you're here. I need to get with you about I'm not in a hurry for it because I don't have the money right now, but I want to do a tablecloth. I need to get you the dimensions of my table that I take to these little shows I go to. It's not like a full-size fold-out plastic table. It's a little smaller than that. But I want to get the dimensions of it and get you to make me just a table cover. Or a cool logo on it, that type of stuff. There's a Mr. Sid Stevie right there. That's right, Richard. I really appreciate it. I mean, it turned out to be a good-looking knife. Really, all it is it's just a homestead with a heathen handle, or a heathen with a homestead blade. Anyway, yeah, I'll get on it soon, Forrest. Like I said, I've got a show the weekend after Blade Show, but I don't even know if you'd have time to make it within that anyway. But I don't have the money right this minute. But I've got just like a black kind of a silky. I'm sure it's not silk. Silky table cover, but I thought it'd be cool to have something with my logo on it, and maybe even put like, my internet addresses and stuff on there too. How are we doing, Paul Mills? Kevin Smith and Knives, how are you, sir? Joseph S. I think Ryan was finishing up a contract. He said he'd be done just a minute and he'd jump on. Somebody's here. There's Kyle. Good deal. How are we doing, Kyle?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
All right. I called you back a few minutes ago, but you didn't answer.
Yeah, I was doing stuff. Sorry.
You just spiting me for not answering you earlier?
No, I was trying to get some food and a couple other things cleaning up. So
I see a homestead right there on the desk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I really wish that Tiffany would pop just a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know. The next time I try it, I'm gonna go a little heavier on the mica powder, which I only made 2 grams of epoxy. 2 grams of epoxy, and I added the same amount of mica powder I would normally use for like 6 grams, but I just want it a little more. It's a little more solid. Just have a little more pop to it. I mean, it looks good the way it is, but I just want it to pop a little more.
Do you have the? Got me zoomed in. Is there another?
There's this one.
Perfect. There we go.
We're gonna have to switch anyway when Ryan gets here.
Okay, I didn't know if he was showing up, but just it gets real tight there. So
I got you.
Yeah, these were getting ready to start working on these, the homestead.
Yeah.
And then that one.
Ed Harrison.
Touch that one up. Yep.
Ed Harrison's Thug.
I finished up Javon's and Burnt Relics. Those are going out tomorrow. And I've still got a little bit of work to do on empties right there at the Picasso. So
okay.
And then that one will be on its way shortly.
I got you.
So
I got empties 90% ground the other day at the shop. I still like a few minutes on it. Guys, I'm really sorry. Let me grab this real quick. Hey, baby.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm on a live stream. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hang on. What's the matter?
I'm going crazy.
You do what?
El Cap, no, I wish I could, buddy. No, I don't have that. I'm just a guest. How we doing, guys? Hopefully everything's all right. How's everyone's weekend? JoJo. Yeah, the last couple of days have been good, but it's supposed to start raining again this week. Forrest, the Thug, yeah. Forrest, it's a resin composite. Dang, Ross, I should have. I only got some of it done. I need to get more done, but couldn't get motivated today. That's a pretty good drive there, Richard. What's up, Scooter? Mills. Drew, I'm sorry to hear that. And I know the first is never easy, so Hopefully, his little buddy's okay though.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
I'm back.
Drew, they're pretty resilient. More than you think. Drew, do you think about putting one of those cones around his head? Hell yeah, Scooter. Glad you like that, El Cap. Glad you like that, El Cap. Well, hello, Ryan. Glad you like that, El Cap.
I couldn't stand the awkward silence anymore.
Ryan. I was trying, buddy, but it wasn't coming.
I couldn't stand the
Tell
awkward
us, you.
I was trying, buddy, but it wasn't. Yeah, I just now figured out what was going on, and I'll hop over here real quick.
Yeah, I don't. There wasn't much going on. I was trying to do my best, Stevie, but it's not easy.
I know.
Especially with
I
the
just
topic.
thought it. I was watching. I figured I would hop on until we figure out what's going on with Shane.
Yeah. I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
How's everybody's day been going?
It's all right.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Shout out to all the mothers out there and everyone. Hopefully you had a good day, despite sometimes they're not still with us. I know it's been a hard day for quite a few of my homies today.
Yeah.
But yeah. But what about you, dude? What do you got going on?
I've actually got a whole lot going on. Hang on, let me try to find it. So I've got a new project. We're starting tomorrow over Mississippi. It's the big the big Amazon data control center. It's a new,
Nice.
bro. This is the biggest job site I've ever seen. It's mind blowing. To give kind of a context of how big it is, there was 5 miles of fence put up around the border of this property, and this building that we're working on, we're putting the fire alarm system in. It's just to house the data for Amazon worldwide. That's it. So, to make matters worse, while you're on the job site, you're under a Faraday cage, so you don't have cell service.
Right.
Don't work. So you might have to walk a mile to get to somebody to ask them a question, and when you get there, they may not even be there. So,
Yeah,
Hey, Stevie.
Yeah.
Do you have access to mute Shane and potentially put his screen on
I can actually just remove him from stage
Okay.
right now.
All right.
There
Just in
you-
case he came back for some reason, I just would rather not.
Yeah, I agree, Kyle. That's a good call.
Yeah, dude, those data centers are huge. They built one out in Eastern Washington, and it's ridiculous, man.
I've never seen anything like this. I hear anytime I go to a new construction, new job, I pick up a new client, they always tell me the job I'm going on. You've never seen anything like this.
Right.
You know, this guy, he told me the same thing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I've heard that before. And when we pulled up, I was like, yeah, you're right. I've never seen anything like this. Stevie, they all throughout the county, they have leased a bunch of farmland just for parking
Yeah.
for the construction workers, and they send buses out to these big pastures to pick all the workers up and bus them in. It's a big logistic nightmare. So, but getting everything set up to get on that job site has just been a big roller coaster over the past couple of weeks. I'm actually currently working on about my third contract that I'm writing right now, and I'm not a lawyer or a contract writer. I have no idea what I'm doing.
You fake it till you make it, man.
Just
Hey,
put
thank you,
hint,
you make it, right?
put hints and therefore a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm using words. I have no idea what they mean. So, but
Stevie, I got a video I got to send you. I occasionally watch guilty pleasures. I watch some of these like mansion tours,
Yeah.
and dude, they showed off this mechanical room in this one, and you would lose your mind on all the piping was in this thing.
Man, that's what I share with me and Justin, OCD for ECD. That's what we don't ever talk about knives. We send each other pictures of mechanical rooms, man.
Right. I mean, this thing was insane.
Yeah, I love that shit, dude.
I mean, I think it was like close to 15,000 square foot home, and it all underfloor heating, like, you know, just there were pipes on backups for everything. It was just wild.
I don't have the pictures. I was shown the pictures, and I'm supposed to be getting them, but I know the contractor, and it's my company whose product is going in this mechanical room, but it's Tyler Perry's home, one of Tyler Perry's homes out in the Telluride, out in Colorado.
Yep.
And it's the most monstrous. I mean, the mechanical room is probably, almost as big as my house.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
and this is for a house.
Yeah.
Some of the thought and the planning that goes into these mega homes is insane.
I mean, well, when you consider just the heating and the cooling aspect of it and the duct work that has to go into it.
Yep.
And I mean, look, I know this is boring the shit out of people already.
I find it fascinating.
But and then these guys have heated floors and heated towel racks and spas and the all the bathrooms and everything in here, that just the piping that has to go into all that. It's a lot of people don't consider that, but hey, buddy.
Shane,
You all right? You okay, bud?
You're muted, buddy.
Oh, I muted him.
Very often, so.
Sorry,
Okay.
man. We had muted you and taken you down just in case.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I appreciate y'all. You jumped on and adding Ryan for me.
Kyle was eating dick, being by himself, so I figured
I was in there thinking, man, poor Kyle.
Hey, man, he was doing a good job of it, though.
That's exactly. I was like, oh man, I gotta go put on my hat and glasses. I gotta jump out there.
Yeah,
I was trying my best, but
I
know.
sit in the kitchen. I thought, man, I bet Kyle is freaking the fuck out.
no, I mean, if I had something to talk about, it would be fine. But I had no topics and there wasn't much going
Yeah,
on.
we ain't even got started good yet. But yeah,
Scooter, the snow melts and everything that are included in that in Michigan, especially, dude. That's
Yep.
But,
and then the crazy part is then you think about not only that, but then all your electrical you're running, Stevie.
Yeah.
And your internet and everything else you're running, the hard lines for everything. So the planning on that is just insane.
It's very nice.
Yeah,
Maybe, do they run a lot of like heat trace up there in the floors, under the driveways, stuff like that?
In Washington State, heat trace is actually code on like all condensate lines on like mechanical equipment and everything. Heat trace is now that's specifically code to be installed in the plumbing code. But yeah,
we don't have that problem down here.
Right.
They don't have
pipes freeze and they just explode down here. It's a daily occurrence during the winter.
They don't have central heat and air up there.
Yeah. I knew that.
Nowadays in new construction, you see a lot of like mini split systems.
Yeah.
Where you got one big, compressor outside and then the heads that run into each room. But up until the mid 2000s, central air was a luxury.
Wow.
Up here, it's not needed. I mean, my house, I got a little portable AC that I wheel out. I just wheeled it out last week.
It's a luxury here too, but I still know people that don't have it. But man, they're miserable, clammy motherfuckers.
Dude, I couldn't deal with it for like without. We had last summer. We had a outage that lasted like 2 days, and I was absolutely miserable because
I remember it was like 90 degrees in your house.
Yes. Like, I mean, I would want to take an ice cream bath.
We take it for granted. And then remember, it was like about 2 years ago when Maddie's AC went down in the thick of summer.
Yeah.
He couldn't even stay in his house.
Right.
I mean,
that's what he gets for living in hell.
Steve, I slept in my first air conditioned bed, like in a room with an air conditioner for the first time when I was in the military in boot camp. That was the first time I had air conditioning. I lived my whole 18 years. We didn't have an air conditioner. We had an attic fan. Our house had burnt. I have told part of that story, that my dad tried to burn the house down with me in it for the insurance money. And my mom ended up getting the money, but it was only like $60,000. And no, it wasn't even that much. I'm sorry. But anyway, when she picked the blueprints to rebuild the house, she told them that she wanted an attic fan and she wanted carpet. And they were like, well, you can't afford both. So we got an attic fan and linoleum. Throughout the whole house was linoleum throughout. So she settled on linoleum just so that we could have that attic fan. And in all honesty, you have to learn how to use an attic fan. You can't open the windows all the way.
Right.
There's no draft. Yeah. You open the window about that far and you rearrange your bedroom.
Yep.
So that your bed's in front of that open window and it sucks air across you. I don't remember being miserable and hot. But see, I got gifted a water bed and I would turn the heater off and that bed was always cool too. So that helped a lot. But,
right.
Shane, was it 60,000 including you?
I don't know. The only reason he wanted to burn me up is because he didn't want to have to pay child support on the
60,000 was the bonus.
Your mama could have had AC. Damn it!
Yeah.
I just remember
selfish bastard.
Someone said the reason it didn't burn down is because Shane was flame retarded.
Yes, that was definitely a comment of last week for sure.
That was Drew, I think.
It
was Drew.
I've got an uncle who has central heating and air, but he don't use air conditioning. Like it's got to be that hot for him.
Yeah.
And now he does save money. Now I get it. I mean,
well, yeah, if you can acclimate to it, you remember the stories of Bobby Allison driving around Hueytown in the middle of the summer with his windows up and the heat on. He was acclimating himself to that heat because those NASCAR cars back then got so hot during the races that he just drove around the middle of the summer with windows up, heat on. That way his body was just used to that kind of heat.
That's wild, man.
I do remember as a kid, though, and I don't know the date. I think I was probably around 10 years old. One day in my entire childhood, I remember walking outside, and literally it felt like 1,000 bees stung me at the same time. Like the humidity was so high, and it was so hot, it was just piercing all over my body. That was the only time I ever remember thinking are being miserable. But
I know it's cliche, but they always say, dry heat's not nearly as bad. And it's true because like I've played a tournament in Arizona in the summertime. It was 112, 114 degrees.
yeah,
And we were out there for, 5-6 hours. And I mean, you don't pee. I mean, you just drink water constantly. You never pee. I mean, because you're sweating and you don't even feel it evaporating off your body. It's that hot, but it's not nearly as bad as like 85 and 90% humidity here in the summer, where like you walk outside and you just instantly get swamp ass. Like
yeah. When I was in San Joaquin Valley, it would get up, to 110, 115. But you could step into the shade and instantly feel a temperature drop.
right
Here,
So-
you step into the shade, there's no difference.
So up until I got my new job 8 years ago, I never traveled outside of the state. Once in a while, going on vacation here and there, but the company's headquartered in Atlanta, so I had to go back to Atlanta for onboarding, and it was in July.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. I hadn't been into the South in 30 plus years as an adult, and I'll never forget, man. It was like 90 something degrees, and I was like, oh man, I gotta go hit underneath the shade. And I walked into the shade, and I'm like, there's no relief in the shade.
Yeah.
Like the sun's not on me, but there is zero relief. I was like,
Ryan, have you ever thought about this, about how these Southern women just have to be built different? Because I don't ever recall in the middle of the summer touching a chick from the South and her feeling clammy. Like, they just don't sweat. I don't know what it is about Southern chicks. I guess they've acclimated to it.
yeah, they've adapted.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. I mean, we can be sitting there. We can be sitting there drinking a beer on a tailgate, and we got the armpit ring, and they're fine. I don't know how they do it.
The bad part is we get that summer humidity and heat, but we also get the winters too.
Yeah.
So we get all 4 seasons versus like at least down south you only get 2 to 3 seasons.
Yeah. If we get a snow or anything where it freezes,
the
state doesn't shut down. But people don't know how to act. We're just not prepared for it. Our highway department doesn't have the equipment to be prepared.
Right.
That blizzard of '93. I'm sure Ryan remembers that.
I do.
We had, and it's weird when I look at it. When I look back at the record of that, and I think it just shows like 16 inches or something like that is what was reported.
Yeah, I think it was average.
It was 4 feet deep. I don't know anybody's yard that it wasn't 4 feet deep in. Like, I could walk outside, it was up to my belly button. I'd never seen snow like that.
I remember falling off I jumped off out the back door. We just had steps when we didn't have a deck. And when I went in, the snow was over my head, which it was a drift. The snow was definitely over my head.
Yeah. Aiden, you're right. We can't drive in the snow. But, I mean,
Nope.
why would we be able to? We have no experience with it.
I can drive in the snow. I enjoy it.
I can too, but I also don't get over 15 miles an hour.
I don't.
Oh geez.
If I was up north,
But-
people would be so mad at me they couldn't see straight.
I
I'm
actually
gonna
enjoy getting out in it. It's a lot of fun.
That's an Alabama thing. If it snows and the roads are closed, you ain't in the cool club if you don't make it to the Waffle House. You got to go to Waffle House because all your buddies are going to be there because it's the only thing open.
I used to drive real drive sports cars year round, and you get used to going up on ramp sideways in the winter and just controlling the drifts.
Yeah,
because I mean you're constantly going to get stuck.
Yeah.
But I finally grew up out of that.
The deepest snow I ever drove in something like I drove a straight shift IROC through Yosemite Valley, and it was a total whiteout. But Yosemite Valley was different. That snow was just like it was kind of like lighter sand. It wasn't slick. It was really deep, but it was just powder. So it just broke and moved out of the way. There was no layer of ice on the roads or anything like that. I mean, there was a few slick spots, but yeah.
The worst is when it's just warm enough to where it starts to melt and turns into a slush. And no, I was never had a Miata dang Ross. You son of a.
Well, hey guys, I'm gonna jump off. I just jumped on to help
I appreciate that, man.
ease the time. Hope everything's all right. I'll be in the chat.
Yeah.
I'll be talking to you guys
Thanks, buddy.
later.
Peace, buddy.
Everything's not all right, but it's not life threatening. Everybody's safe.
Well, I mean, if you need to go, go. I mean, that's
No, I'm gonna go pick her up in the morning. We're gonna go have lunch and
okay. I'm
figure
just
out
making
plan.
sure.
Yeah. Oh, I did offer. I mean, I was about to drive up there, but
I just
told me
meant
to
because
come in the morning.
this is not important.
Yeah.
Right. I tell you something. Some wild stuff was happening. Which getting this job off the ground has been a nightmare to say the least. So the past, I'd say about a month, I've been having a little bit of problem out of my right shoulder. It's been nothing bad, nothing serious. So yesterday morning I woke up and I can barely lift it up. I'm thinking I just slept on it wrong. Well, this morning it was worse than yesterday. So I'm like, well, I need to just go home. I'll go get a steroid shot, maybe some anti-inflammatories, because I can't afford to come out of work right now. So I get there. He tells me that he thinks my rotator cuff's torn, which he wasn't able to do an MRI, but he said the way that my shoulder's hanging out of the socket, he said that's just a sure sign of a big problem being there. So I was like, well, just give me a steroid and like some ibuprofen 800, send me on my way. I'll get it fixed down the road. And so I get home and I'm fielding calls, emails, and filling out paperwork all at the same time. And my wife looks around the corner and said, hey, Ryan, the washer just quit. I said, oh my gosh, man. So now the blessing is a couple of years ago, my grandmother passed away and I took her washer and dryer. So I had another washer down in the basement in storage. So I quit. I took a break from work for a minute to swap the washer out. And I tell you, man, it's just these past couple of weeks have just been brutal, absolutely brutal.
So we had to replace our washer recently. Went to Lowe's, and all they had are these touchpad electronic.
That's the one I just pulled out.
Garbage, man.
It is, man. It's
Garbage.
Just senseless sensors.
I mean, I understand they're prettier than the old ones, but I just want to turn a knob to wash and hit start and walk away.
Yeah.
That thing throws error codes all the time, and it's the craziest thing. You can throw the clothes in it, and it does this cycle before it starts where it jerks back. All it's doing is, if you throw like a pair of my wife's tights in there, it just wraps them around the agitator and ties them in a knot. Just destroys them. Before the cycle even starts, it does all that.
Yeah. Our sense is how much clothes are in there, how much water it needs, this and that. I'm like,
I hate them.
The one that I put in for my grandmother was like 40 years old.
Right.
And it cleans my clothes 100% better anyway. My work clothes are covered in oil.
It's not trying to conserve water.
Right.
Steve, you're right. It does smell like gay in here ever since you got here.
I thought both of you were married. Why are you complaining about a washer being broke?
Yeah.
Because we got to replace them.
Yeah.
You can't afford a divorce.
Yeah.
Lord of mercy. For some reason, see, I'm on my wife's desktop and it's not letting me connect in the chat. So if anybody's talking trash about me, I can't see it and it's not fair.
They have not yet.
No.
Well, you can't talk trash about perfection, though. No.
That's right.
Well, they just don't know you well enough.
Cheeto,
he
he's in the chat. He just came on to cover for me while I was on the phone.
Man.
Todd, you're right. I had we still have the old fashioned type, and they work so much better than the fancy washers and dryers.
Oh,
I'm in the same boat that Ryan is. We've got a new computer controlled one, but the dryer went out, and I had the money to buy a new dryer. So a buddy of mine gave me a set of the older basic washer and dryer, and I kept the washer because I know I'm gonna have to swap it out eventually. This new one's not gonna last. There's no
it
way.
won't. And what the thing about it is, it'll be just a senseless sensor.
Yeah.
that it'd be like, okay, it tells the washer what, like how much weight is in there, so we'll know how much water do you like. No, just cut the water on. It like
Right. Just fill it up. I'll pay the bill. I'll pay the extra 8 cents for all that water. I don't care.
Yep.
But this is a prelude, and I know y'all are going to blame Scuba Steve for me bringing this up, but this is a result of us sending all of our manufacturing over fucking seas. We can't even get decent washers and dryers anymore because it's all Chinese garbage.
Yep.
And that's what happens. You get that, and that's the thing though. That washer was $800. That's how they get you, dude. They sell you all this cheap shit until everybody goes out of business, and then they just jack the price up. Just like my story about I went to buy my granddaughter cowboy boots. I was expecting to pay over $200 for a pair of cowboy boots. Problem is, they're all Chinese made now, but they're all still over $200. So they put all the American companies out of business, and then they just raise their price to what the American price was or more when it's all over. That's what's going to happen to the knife community. Eventually, it's going to happen.
I think my washer and dryer is probably 12 years old,
Yeah.
and I think I've had to replace a sensor, and there was something on the bottom of the barrel of the washer that was going out that I had to replace one time too. And that was it.
Yeah, those old ones, you didn't have to have a laptop to fix them.
Oh no!
Well, I remember I had one that the hose, the drain hose cracked, and I replaced it with a piece of heater hose from AutoZone. You could fix that stuff back then, but I just don't think people realize how dangerous it's going to be when we're dependent on a single place for everything, because we're almost there now. And the result has not been a positive one in any industry. Any industry, it's gone to shit because of that.
Okay, I think I got it figured out now, guys. Sorry.
We were concerned.
I know.
Yeah, I remember when it was a luxury to go get a Maytag or a Whirlpool, but they would last forever.
Right. Do y'all remember the Maytag Man commercials? You don't remember those?
Which
No.
one? Like, what were they doing?
It was just always this commercial. This older guy looked like he was in his 60s, and like a blue, that standard blue service repair guy uniform, just sitting there at a desk. I think he had a dog sitting beside him, and every commercial was him just sitting there bored to death. The point was he never had anything to do because Maytags don't break. But he was always just sitting there staring at the phone, hoping somebody would call with a problem with their Maytag washer. But it was a pretty good advertising scheme there for a while. Wouldn't work, nowadays. It's not edgy enough. But yeah, that was my whole childhood. I bet Super Still Steve remembers the Maytag Man.
I remember.
Of course, you remember Neil. You remember when the wheel was created.
Right. Yeah, Neil's old as hell.
His social security number is 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
His school books were tablets.
Yeah. It's
Stones.
His high school yearbook's just him and Jesus. What's up, Evil Lee? I apologize for that earlier, y'all. I know.
Don't apologize.
Well,
It's all good, my man.
Scared.
So, Kyle, what have you had going on this week?
I've had actually I've got quite a bit done, but it's still pretty relaxing. I have not took a little bit of a break. I had some things going on around here, and then now I got a few more knives to finish up this week, and then I'll be back to open books. So,
well, that's good, man.
Yeah, it's nice to be busy, but it's also good to be able to work with other people.
Yeah.
I've got plenty going on. But dude, I got so upset last night. I got to thinking about it. I was kind of scheduling out, what I was going to be able to get done and whether or not I was going to be able to have these knives done by Blade Show. And I'll tell you, to have them all done by Blade Show, it's going to be a serious push. And then it hit me. I won't have time to send them to Kyle. Like, if I had them done right now, I mean, it'd almost be unfair to ask him to sharpen 30 knives even this close. But it's hit me that I'm going to have to sharpen them myself, and I'm not happy about it. Not happy about it at all. Because, if I get them done a week before Blade Show, that's not enough time to mail them up there and him sharpen them, mail them back. But everybody with orders are still going to Kyle's. Don't worry about that. But
Well, have you thought about reducing the number you take? Would that help? Or is it just a logistics thing, getting them there, getting them back, and then
yeah, giving him time to do it, and just the way I'm doing them, I'm not, I'm trying to do a batch. So, when the first knife's going to get done within hours of the 8th knife, you know what I'm saying? So it's just not, it's not going to work. I won't be able to get them to him before Blade Show. So
that's great, but don't push yourself to the point where you're afraid you can't get stuff done. Just get done what you can get done, and don't worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna.
It's not all or nothing. I mean,
right. Yeah, and I plan to do it. My priority are the 5 crew wear thugs, and then the Nitro V thugs, and then I want to have Javon's frets done as well. But Javon's not even positive he's going to be able to go. Most of y'all know Javon's situation. I mean, I don't even know if he has a way to go. So,
I told him we'd swing up there and pick him up.
Right.
If he wanted to go. I mean,
Oh, he wants to go. There's no doubt. But
yeah. But of course, he of course he said that he'd have to let us know.
Right. Yeah.
Offers on the table for him.
He just doesn't like asking.
Oh, yeah.
Asking for help, but yeah. But so I'm not sure if I'm going to have the frets done. I got to think about something. You two would be great to talk to about because Kyle's very anal about everything he does, and you're kind of a precision kind of guy too, Ryan. But I'm thinking about trying to do one of Javon's frets and making the handle scales look like a fret with like the white pearlescent dots, and then mill lines across it and lay brass rod in it so it actually looks like a fret on a guitar. I don't know if I can pull it off, but I really want to do one day.
And make the pins look like mother of pearl.
Right. Oh, I can do that. I've got pearl white.
Bro, that'd be very creative.
I don't think I want the brass sticking up. I don't want it. I don't want you to be able to feel it.
Yeah. It needs to be right.
Right. So that's the thing. I don't know if I can be precise enough to cut those grooves and lay that in there and glue it in.
It's too bad you don't know anybody that knows how to do that.
You're right. It is. It's too bad I don't know anybody that can do that.
But I'm going to be honest. I can't commit to it to have it done before Blade Show right at this moment. I don't.
That is a very small surface area. You're talking about a 3/4 inch wide surface area. So
you would have to.
Know. Huh?
As I was going to say, you'd probably just do it as a segment and scale and have it set that way versus trying to do individual inlays and then shape them from that.
I thought about that too. I'm not doing just wood, brass.
Yeah.
Instead of routing a channel and laying the brass in the
wood.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, that'd be way harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to be able to make that happen. I can tell you though that one would have to cost a little more than just a standard set of knife scales. But I've always loved the craftsmanship of it. I don't play at all, but I just always admired looking at a nice guitar, and how beautiful that fretboard is, and that takes an absolute artist, and I'm assuming somewhat of a sound engineer to make sure that it does what it's supposed to do and sounds right.
Yeah.
But
Probably, honestly, the easiest way to do it would be to just get wood scales, find someone who's a steady hand, good artist, and paint it on, and then lacquer clear over it, so it looks like it's a fret and it's painted on, but then you're not actually worried about
I
having
only
to do
use
endless.
actual brass.
Okay.
Yeah, because what I'll do is I'll just build it stood up
Well, then screw my idea. That's cool.
and clamp
Yeah,
it.
Cal, what are you thinking?
Right. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
why would I want it to look realistic?
Because that is what's on the fret, right? That's brass inlays, right?
As far as I know,
Yeah, it looks like brass. So
yeah.
Neil McKenzie would know. He's rebuilding. Is that brass that runs across the fret, Neil? It looks like brass. It's gold colored anyway.
Neil created brass.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, do a nice curly burl wood with it. Man, that'd look good. Maple wood and brass. There you go.
Ryan, you'd be jealous of the stash of black walnut I've got.
you could send it to me. Send me some.
These are too big to be sending.
Really?
What are you gonna do with them, Kyle?
I don't know. I got 40 or 50 board feet of 8/4 clear black walnut.
That's pearlescent white right there.
Yep. That's that powder, right?
Yeah. Can you see the pearlescent in the light?
Mm-hmm. That's some real pretty stuff.
Yeah. I'm addicted.
A bunch of the William Henrys I bought.
I bet you I have 80 containers of mica powder. That's not my new addiction is mica powders. And then I'll pour up scales. Unfortunately, the majority of them end up going in the trash because they don't turn out how I want. But it's when you figure it out and you get that right color combination, it makes it all worth it. One of these days, I'll be good at it because I keep.
As long as you're learning from mistakes, man, you get better every time you do it.
Right.
Kyle, where do you source your wood at?
There's a really good lumber specialist that's about 40 minutes from me.
Okay.
That you familiar with the Wood Whisperer? You ever watched any of his stuff?
I think, yeah. I may actually follow him because he sounds
Mark Spagnolia. He's written some books and stuff. Anyways, he had a deal with these people too, where so I just said, hey, and I would get 10% off plus they would make it S3S for me for free. So, but I got this 3 or 4 years ago. I was going to make a desk out of it and I just never got around to it. I got that and I got 100 board feet of 4/4 ash as well too.
Ash is real pretty.
Ash is just cheap.
It is.
Oak. As far as because it's got the same grain structure as oak.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of pores, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I've never seen you see black walnut and it's really pretty and it's got some sapwood or whatever. No, this is 100% clear. It is the same color from butt to butt. They're 6-foot boards of 8/4, and you can't see a deformation in any of it. I've never seen anything this good.
I was about to say I've never seen anything like that. What you talking about?
And he this was back before the prices went. They were still high, but now I think what is, do you know, have you priced it recently?
I'll pay.
It's like $11 or $12 a board foot, isn't it?
I was about to say, yeah, because I can't remember. I was about to tell you what I paid for my last piece, but I can't remember the board foot that it was. I paid $200 or $300 for it, but that's lasted me months.
Right.
Yeah.
It don't take much wood to build a cutting board, especially a small one.
Right.
So what I'll do with a big piece of wood is I'll build a whole bunch of large ones, get them sold, and then all my scrap pieces, I build a shit ton of small ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Richard, that's Ipe. Am I saying it right, Kyle? Ipe?
I don't think it is Ipe though.
And he said he actually told me he checked when he got back to work and said it's on the paperwork. It says Tigerwood.
Well, it doesn't.
It's a
It doesn't.
Brazilian hardwood. Is all I know.
It doesn't sand like normal Ipe because Ipe is hard as shit. If you ever had like for your decking and you try to sand it, I mean, it takes forever, and that stuff was not too bad. I mean, it could be maybe just different type, but the yeah, Ryan, I think I got this 8/4 for like $8.50 a board foot.
That's really cheap.
Well, again, this
There was so much of it, or
no, it was like this was 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, this is before.
Oh yeah, before
went,
COVID. And,
Let me go grab some epoxy stuff I'm working on right this minute. I'm not done, but I can show you what I'm doing.
okay. Go.
The this place, I mean, they'll deliver, but and you can buy packs of like 10, 20, 40 board feet of stuff, and they'll ship them, but depends on what, you know, if it's worthwhile or not for you.
Yeah, there's a guy here. Actually, he's just about 15, 20 minutes away from me. And he gets just about, he's got some wild stuff in there. Yeah. He's got a lot of burl. I've been wanting to get some burl and stabilize it and do some work with it. You know, that's I love the way it looks when it's finished.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know how to work with it. You know, once it's stabilized, I imagine it's not really that hard. But after watching a few YouTube videos, I mean, I'm sure that I could do it.
Yeah, this guy carries damn near everything. I mean, but he specializes in walnut, curly maple.
Black walnut and curly maple make such a good design together. The way they contrast each other.
Yeah.
How the curly maple plays with the light and stuff. It's really makes a really pretty cutting board anyway. It makes a good one. I've made so many of them now. I kind of want to do something different.
Here's the piece I've been working on.
Let's see that resin, Shane.
I'm talking about the trial and error of it. This is Tiffany blue, but
I like
you see how it's a little dark for Tiffany blue, but that's because it's cobalt on the other side. I was wanting to do layers, but I'm probably going to stop. I'm probably not going to use this piece because this is darker than what it was when I poured it because I added the cobalt to it. So I'm going to have to add some white to this to lighten it up some more. But I want to do layers. I figured out if I do 1 gram of epoxy, it pours I want the layers to be as thin as possible. But guys, it'll literally take me a month to make these scales because I have to pour a layer, come back the next day, pour another paper thin layer, come back the next day, pour another paper, because I want them layered so that when I sand them, you know, it transitions from one color to another. But I love that cobalt blue, man. It is beautiful.
Shane, that might not lighten up with white because it's blocking the light to come through the back with that cobalt.
I know. Yeah. I
probably have to sand that off.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to fix it because I want this to be, well, you can't really tell looking at the mica powder because it looks darker. That's pretty close, though, ain't it?
Yeah.
So I want some scales just out of that cobalt. That looks like really close to my logos, the sprocket.
I use the cobalt a lot.
Because you know the color of the sprocket on my logo is really close to that color.
Yeah,
and
yeah. That's by far my favorite mica powder. Is that?
You know, that makes me think. I wonder what would we have to do to get my logo on some scales?
I don't know about on scales. I can have it lasered on a blade, but I don't know about on scales.
If you laser it in the scales and then epoxy it over it, it would stand. It would stick in the.
Speaking of blades, though, I want to show y'all. So, guys, this is a standard thug. And I don't know if he's in here, but Derek for real had already paid a deposit on a knife, but we weren't really sure what he wanted. He didn't want something this small. We danced around with a couple of different ideas, and finally, we settled on a Thug XL. I just want to show y'all the difference. It's actually a Thug double XL.
I was about to say that's a 2X, man.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a
Magnum Thug.
Now he's gonna say, I don't want one that big.
No, he loves it.
Of course he
I've
does.
seen pictures. So yeah, that's I don't even know how long that blade is. It's probably at least a 5-inch blade thug. But I do like it, man. I'd like to make some
No,
more
I
of
think
these.
12 inches, dog.
Yeah. The great thing about it though is it's I don't know if you can tell, but this 2X thug is actually thinner than the regular thug. It's just a thinner blade stock. So this thing should be an absolute slicing machine, man. This will be, yeah.
Is it a different alloy?
Yeah, this is crew wear and this is Nitro V.
Drew,
I
that's a
had
good,
this Nitro
good
V.
point.
I had this
So-
Nitro V laying around for kitchen knives.
Is
It's a
the Nitro
tad-
V a better steel than the crew wear?
No, the crew wear is the better steel.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like as far as edge retention or?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a good point. The Nitro V doesn't have as good edge retention, but it can handle beating this thing because Nitro V is very, very, very tough.
Okay.
And then this is Javon's fret and Magna Cut. They're all heat treated.
I like that. I like that finger tool
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, it's a very comfortable little knife. It's not a whole lot of cutting surface, but he wanted it to be pocketable.
And he's got small pockets.
Yeah. Yeah, Todd, I wish my hands were that steady. I don't know if I trust my hands to do that, but I mean, you definitely could. That's the great thing about epoxy is you can do whatever you want and then do clear over the top of it if you want to. You got a good point, Drew. If Derek was here, he probably wouldn't be able to see that knife. I hate to make fun of the man for being blind, but he jokes about it, so I guess it's okay that we do.
He's got one of those special jitterbug, Shane, where it shows up text messages in Braille.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's a joke, Ryan.
Oh, I was.
Freaking gullible ass.
They do have services.
Hey, listen, man. They got daggone washing machines and dishwashers and refrigerators that'll tell you when they're out of something, this and that, Bluetooth, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
to have a machine to pop up in Braille to tell a blind man what the text message says is not out of the picture.
No,
Why wouldn't it just be audio?
Fuck
Yeah.
you, Kyle. Fuck you,
Like
Kyle.
I was talking about my buddy Kevin Polka at the shop the other day. Yeah, he's deaf. So whenever he would call me, he would always call me first. He'd just dial the phone and call me and do that deaf mute scream. And I'd hang up on him and then he'd call back and it would be this woman's voice. And he would sit there and type to her. Then she would read it to me. I would reply to her. She would type it to him. That's how we had phone conversations. But yeah. So I'm sure
I'm assuming this was pre-text.
Huh?
This was pre-text message, I'm assuming.
It was, yeah. Well, at that time text had just come out, but Kevin, I doubt very seriously he could afford a cell phone. I talk about Kevin, I joke about it, man, but the reason why I would go down there and work on his car in his yard for free is because Kevin has every reason in the world to be on disability, and he's not. He gets up and he works every day, tries every day, and because of his disabilities, he can't make much money. But I respect that, so I worked on his car for free. You know, he could have easily just drawn a check and.
What do you do?
He was just born that way. He was
No, I meant for work.
Oh, he delivered pizza. Yeah, and it's awkward as you can imagine, because he just walk up with the pizza in your hand, and people would start talking to him. He just stands there with the pizza in his hand till you take it, and then he put his other hand out to take the money.
I'm gonna start doing that on job sites sometimes. Yeah. I get overwhelmed. I'm just gonna act like I'm deaf.
Yeah.
I bet he could make pretty good money as a 1-900 operator.
That day he pulled in the parking lot all pissed off and his horn was stuck. He kept pointing at the truck. And then he wrote on the paper horn and I wrote back, how'd you know? I still don't know how he knew the horn was stuck. Maybe he could feel it, the vibrations of it. I don't know. But I was like, how'd you know? And that's when he got mad. He started writing, tearing the paper with the.
Oh my god!
I tore his notebook in half, threw it in the garbage. So that'll shut him up. However, I did go out in the parking lot and unplug his damn horn. And anything else he ever needed on that car. I went through he'd call screaming at me. Just I don't know if you ever dealt with a mute person, but it's all vowels. You're just screaming vowels through the phone. So I'd go, I had no idea what he said, but I'd tell my boss, hey man, Kevin needs my help. And my boss was good about it too. So he'd let me drive down there and fix Kevin's car in his driveway.
Man, that's funny.
That's
man.
too bad. You never could have pulled the stick the radio on blast prank.
Yeah. I'll never forget the first time I got in his truck, went to pull it in the shop, and saw those 4x4 blocks attached to the pedals. He wasn't a midget.
I was about to ask, so he's a midget
Wait,
too?
I was gonna say,
What did this guy do?
He was only like 5 foot. I think you had to be under 4'10" or something to be and so he couldn't reach the pedals of that Chevrolet truck he drove. And he was barrel chested. He was as big in the chest as I am, probably strong as an ox. And barrel chested, 5 foot tall, redheaded. Even if he could hear, he wouldn't be able to hear good because he had no ear holes. It was just all cauliflower.
kind of like you.
Yeah. I need to go see Kevin and get a selfie with him so I can show y'all.
I swear for the first.
If I run into James, I'm definitely getting a selfie with James.
Oh hell yes.
Yeah. I don't think Ryan was here for that. My buddy.
Y'all meet Hank. This is our little rambunctious puppy. He's still learning the world.
Is he?
Yeah, he won't shut up.
Yeah.
We haven't taught him or haven't completed teaching him how to not bark yet.
Right.
He likes to bark at his dreams and stuff like that in the middle of the night.
Barking is good though sometimes.
This
Yes.
is how I got woke up yesterday morning. I don't know if y'all can see that tongue slathered across my cheek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you had like a scraped elbow is what you're trying to show us.
No, that's Bibi.
It's so bright you can't see it.
Yeah.
It
That's
does
Bibi.
look like that.
Well, she's that bright white, but that's the bottom of her neck.
What's
licking
up,
me in the face. For those of you who aren't overly sensitive, that's the cat killer. So, and you can tell why, dude. The bottom of her mouth is as wide as my head is.
There you go. See? Ain't nothing to be scared of.
Puppies
Oh,
are just like kids, though, dude. Like, while they're in that puppy stage, they're just so annoying and such a pain in the ass. But, man, you just wish they could stay that way forever.
Yeah, this one is he's definitely our wildest one. So
I know they're supposed to be really smart dogs.
he's stupid smart. That's the problem. He's definitely our problem solver.
Like, have you ever owned an Alaskan Malamute?
No.
If you want a challenge in life, own a Malamute and try to fence that dog in. They can climb a 10-foot fence.
Is it a challenge, huh?
Dude, you cannot keep a Malamute in a fenced-in yard. If you've had a Malamute in a fenced-in yard and it never got away, there was something wrong with that dog. There's a reason why it didn't. They just love to wander. They want to roam 10 miles from home every day, and they will figure it out. They'll dig, they'll climb, they'll jump. They'll legitimately move things and pile things to get extra height to get over something.
Yep.
Yeah. And when they take off, they ain't just going to the neighbor's yard. They're going across town.
Sorry, I've got to get my printer back online here.
Oh, you're good.
We had to get a new router and everything, and I'm having to reset everything back up.
I don't know if you guys saw Mad Yoko's latest knife. He's been posting it. The one I made him.
It's sharp.
That all that is this cobalt blue epoxy and some deep purple epoxy poured into aluminum honeycomb. Now, his is slightly translucent. You can kind of see through the cobalt because I hadn't quite figured out the amount of mica to add. But his looks a little lighter because it's not as concentrated as it needs to be. Who's got a? Oh, Aiden's got a cane corso.
That's what I'm just saying. They're
Those are very intimidating looking animals, man.
Well, they can be absolutely phenomenal dogs, or they can just be, if you don't train them and you're not good at training them and keeping up on it, they can be just absolutely ruthless killers.
I had an opportunity to get one, and I didn't just because I wanted it so bad, but I knew that I'm not capable, nor am I disciplined enough to own a cane corso.
Yeah,
they're beautiful dogs. They're big though.
Yeah, I think you have to be real honest with yourself before you own a cane corso or several other breeds. Actually, if you're not disciplined enough to make them submissive to you, you don't need to. It's like leaving a loaded gun laying around, for anybody to access.
What's the other one? Doggo de Argentina.
Yeah,
those are the same way.
That's pretty much the same dog. One's just black, one's white.
But it's like the amount of power that those things have is unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, my uncle had a husky wolf mix.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, it was gorgeous. This little girl, and he got it, and he started putting it on a leash. I mean, it was only like 3 months old, 4 months old. And he started putting like on little, not leash, but a little harness. He was going to train it for outdoor work. And they were out in the front yard doing commands, and she didn't hear him, walked right out in the middle of the road and just got splattered by a truck right in front of him. Yeah. I've never seen him ever show emotion at all, and he was devastated over that.
Richard said he had a Belgian Malinois.
Yeah.
I saw a video recently of a guy with 3 Belgian Malinois. He had them out in his backyard, and he drove a RC car out into the backyard. And dude, that one grabbed that thing by the tire and just started spinning as fast as he could spin. That RC car never touched the ground. And the whole time, the other 2 were biting the tires as it came by them. I was just thinking, man, if that was an animal, it just doesn't have a chance. Those dogs are just, they are the pure athletes of the dog world.
That's funny you said that, Mills. When I took my little pit to obedience classes when I first got him, there was 2 Irish wolfhounds in there in the puppy class, in the same class as him, and they don't look intimidating at all. But man, he was absolutely scared shitless of them. Like they put the fear into him.
Well, I mean, they're wolfhounds for a reason.
I understand that, but they still don't look intimidating.
I know they don't, but I mean, they were trained to hunt down and bay wolves if needed. So yeah, that's one of the meanest dogs I've ever experienced is Australian Shepherd. I learned that working at Express Oil Change for 16 years. We'd have a lot of ranchers come in the shop in their F-350s to get the oil changed, and I'd tell guys, because I trained everybody that came through there. Typically, we would open the door and take the old sticker out of the window, and I'd tell them, I was like, man, these dualies, when they come in, you make sure you look first. Because if there's a blue heeler or an Australian Shepherd in that truck, do not open that door. Dude, they are super protective.
As I said, they're not mean, but they're super protective.
Yeah.
And they're insanely smart. I had an Australian Shepherd lab mix, and she was brilliant. But They're very, very protective.
You know why? You know why I won't own one? Because I can't stand the way they feel when I pet them. That hair is so
wiry,
copper wire.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're petting them with the grain, it's uncomfortable to me. And I love to lay around and pet my dog, so that's the reason why I've never owned an Australian Shepherd. I like them.
Can I
come on,
pet
pet your dog.
that dog? We did it. Same dog.
Maybe you come in here and just lay up on me, let me rub her belly or her back until I get sick of it, for more than an hour. And I've learned that if I do it with a microfiber cloth, she likes it even more. And the microfiber cloth will collect the hair as I'm rubbing her. So I don't end up with hair in my bed.
My little spoiled asshole dog, he'll get up in your lap and turn around and face the TV.
Yeah.
So like his back's to you.
Yeah.
And then he'll lean back and pull his arm up and want you to hold his hand while he's watching TV. It's like, you're sitting on me. How much closer do you need to be to me?
I love it when Kyle and I are we both got our phones on speaker, and one of our dogs will bark. Like his dog will bark, and Diggy will start barking, and his dog will bark more. So they're having a conversation on speakerphone the same time we are.
Well, will y'all's dogs ever grab your hands and pull them to them?
All the time.
Yeah, mine do too. I love it. Like it makes my day.
I don't know if Kyle's is this way, but BB, she's not as big on belly rubs as my last bulldog was. All she wants you to rub is her butt because she can't reach it.
Oh yeah,
She's so thick. She's so thick she can't bend and turn around to bite her butt. So if you just sit there and scratch right above her tail, man, she'll lay there all day long. But
that's the pity move. They all when they run up to you, if they trust you, they turn their back to you and put their butt near you so you scratch their butt.
Right.
I mean, everyone that I've been around and everyone that I've owned has been that way. They do that move.
I don't mind scratching her butt for her, but it annoys the shit out of me because as soon as I start scratching it, she starts licking her paws.
Yeah, I can't stand that. I can't stand that same.
I don't mind her licking me every now and then, but she'll just lay there and lick her paws the entire time I'm scratching her butt. And then when I stop, she turns around and gives me that judgmental stare. Go ahead, sir, and sand your hand off. Yeah. That's why I don't own wire coat dogs. Yeah, they do love a butt rub.
Yep.
Baby likes it aggressive too. She likes to just get in there like a deep tissue massage, right where her tail meets her back. Yeah. He loves it.
Unfortunately, the older
it's sad when you own a dog that you love so much and it's so perfect that you spend half its life just worried sick about what are you going to do when it's gone. This household I'm telling it's going to be bad, man. I wouldn't doubt Amber probably had to be medicated. Like that dog is her world. Her entire world is that dog. She's in there right now, curled up to her in bed asleep.
You want to talk about one of the most traumatizing things that I've ever seen was I had two girl dogs for a while. That Australian Shepherd Lab mix and a Pit Boxer mix. And they got along okay, but they still would have battles and they would get into it, actual fights. But one night, my Australian Shepherd, she was like a year and a half older. She had a stroke or what, but all of a sudden she just started like squealing and limping around, and she ended up just falling down and like defecating herself, and she ended up passing.
Yeah.
But while she was doing that, the Pity was constantly walking because it's the middle of the night. We can't take her anywhere.
Right.
The Pity was walking around her doing circles and like barking at her and yipping at her and like trying to get her to wake up and then start screaming. It's like I lost it. I mean, that broke me.
I would have too.
I can't. I've got one that we almost lost here recently, and the amount of emotions we felt that night were, I can't describe it. Like it's, the thing about it is, I always thought up until I got these dogs, they were just pets, you know. But when I got some that actually, I guess, complimented me, I guess, my personality.
That's the key, man. If you
Bro.
find one that compliments you and your family, it's a whole different experience.
Bro, let me tell you something. These guys, I would, I like them more than humans.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, that's no question about that.
I took my mama to Chili's today. She loves the ribs at Chili's. She don't know what good ribs are, but I took her because that's where she wanted to go. So I brought when we both had a full rack. So BB had like 20 rib bones when I got home today. It is crazy to watch a pit bull because those bones when they're, I don't know if y'all know this, but Chili's steams those ribs. They steam them when they first open, and they just hang there. And when you order them, they slap the sauce on it and put it in a high heat oven to make it look like they were, smoked, but they're not. But man, it makes those bones just hard as steel. And then I'll toss her one of them things, and she'll throw it over in the side of her mouth and just crunch, crunch, crunch like it's nothing.
Yeah. Eva Lee, which screen name are you wanting? You got Instagram, YouTube.
Thanks for stopping by, Dang Ross. You have a good evening, bud.
You're not Bad Ross. Dang Ross. Sorry. I was reading bedtime when I said that.
Dang Ross, enjoy your car bed.
Your what?
He's got one of those little car beds.
I'm a little jealous.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. He never grew out of it.
Every time I think of that, I think when we went shark fishing, me and Meathead went shark fishing down in Florida. And we were the last two editions. There was a group going down there, and they needed 2 more spots. So me and Meathead joined. So needless to say, the Airbnb they rented, we got the kids' room. And we were both laying there in bed trying to go to sleep with our legs from the knees down hanging off the bed because they were those, small child beds. But, man, that was a hell of a weekend. When I say shark fishing, you have to understand how we did. We didn't use a boat. We would literally walk out into chest deep surf, and the water would turn black, where the sandbar dropped off, and we'd just pitch the cut bait like 10, 15 feet in front of us and catch 6, 8, 10, 12 foot black tip sharks. Have to reel them in. When you get it reeled in, everybody'd be waiting, depending on the size of the shark. When they'd reel it up and get close to the rod, like I'd just put my arms around it and clamp down on it and hang on. And somebody on the other side of the shark would put their arms around it and clamp down and hang on. Then the shark would start rolling and roll us in the ocean. It was a fight, man, but it was a lot of fun.
I figured Shane went noodling for sharks.
No. How you doing, John? Everybody say hello to John there from the Fossil Channel.
What up, John? The Fossil Channel.
John is probably the most. He's probably the most legit EDC guy I know. John works for the parks. I'm not going to say it wrong, but like the parks department in New York State. So when hikers go missing, he has to go out and find them, and they maintain the trails and stuff through the state. I think it's just the state parks. But he does a lot of really good videos on his channel on like little toolkits. He's probably got, I'd hate to guess how many those little zipper EDC toolkits he's got, but he's got them all for, just different situations.
I have to check his channel out.
I give him a hard time. I hope he doesn't take me wrong, but it is the best channel to go to sleep to because he has this really soothing monotone voice. He doesn't get excited, and he'll put you to sleep.
I like watches too, and I've got a small collection of watches, and there for a little while I got into working on them. I'd piddle with them a little bit, and I couldn't ever watch the watch maintenance
Yeah.
videos. It would knock me out
Yeah.
like Xanax every night, man.
A lot of the good watch repair videos are actually just no audio, because a lot of the ones in Japanese and the Swiss where they're actually just showing you and they're not talking at all.
Yeah, I think it's the talking that puts me out.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I don't even remember how
has my mind enough to relax me.
I'll have to call you, John. We'll talk about that because I don't remember how I met John. But I enjoyed it because we had one of those conversations about a pocket knife, and we spent a couple of hours of him talking about, what his needs were, and what his environment was, and I ended up gifting him a Cold Steel Code 4. And since then, dude, he gave me the Swiss Army knife that my nephew went to his first scout camp with. He recently gave me that Gerber.
What up, Mad Yako?
Leatherman Drive. I can't remember. Anyway, he just recently gave me a Leatherman, and he's the one that sent me the little ratchet attachment for the Leatherman for my birthday. So nice. I'm currently in the process of making John a knife, fixed blade knife. Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
I didn't know you were into watches too, Ryan.
Yeah, I have a couple of Grail watches that I have not picked up yet. Still waiting on some goals to pick them up, but
always.
I use watches like I do high-end cologne. I only wear them for one purpose. If I'm on the prowl, I'll put on a nice watch. Yeah.
You want to know what I used to put on when I was on the prowl? Back when I was drunk? A wedding ring.
Yeah, that'll do it.
100% success rate, my man. Yeah. And it's sick that it's that way, but when women would see that ring, not only they were drawn to it, but I guess it was the idea of there's no strings attached here.
That, and it's the competitive nature. Women are competitive too. They don't want to admit it.
It's getting something that they're not supposed to have.
Exactly. Yako, I've got my Cheeto Bandito. This is my favorite T-shirt by far.
Yako, I got your package sent out, I think yesterday. My days are all running together, bro. Speaking of which, let's do that here. I've got a hat. I got a hat and a shirt. Let's give a hat and a shirt away.
Hang on before we do that. Yako, if you're going to be here a minute, I want to go grab your knife. The heat treat's fully done on it. No, wait a minute. Is it? No, it's at the shop. Never mind. I'm sorry. Never mind. Your knife's at the shop. I can't show it to you right now.
What a tease.
Yeah, my bad.
You said that Tyler got his purple handle knife, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Richard Hopkins got his. He got his knife today.
He reached out to me today.
Yeah. I'm a little bit jealous. I really would have liked to check that knife out with your edge on that M4, just to see what it was like. I love the way M4 feels with a fresh edge on it.
It was good.
So we'll do an Ellis Industrial shirt, and tonight I'll throw in an Ellis Industrial cup.
Oh, that's a nice cup. I just paid $25 for one of those.
I'll sell it to you for 20.
What's up, Donnie? How you doing, bud?
Donnie B.
This your real name? I only ask because I just started Californication.
I'm gonna run grab some more water. I'll be right back, guys.
Thing I didn't tell Ryan is I don't know how to run giveaways.
Let's do the numbers game. There's not a lot.
Yeah, we'll have to do the numbers game. I don't know how to do the other.
Yeah, there's not a ton of people in here. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't get as much coloration this time out of the heat treat. Like, I love when they come out like that with all that blue and purple, and it's weird how sometimes you get it, sometimes you just don't. I don't know why, but I wish there was a way to leave it. You know what I mean? Like if I could pre-grind them, then heat treat them, and all that's left to do is sharpen it, and the blade looked like that all over. I love that look, but I don't know that that's doable. I mean, I know Medford does like a vulcanization finish, but
I still don't know how they're doing that because that doesn't seem
I don't either, because the people that are doing it aftermarket are ruining the heat treat.
right. That's my point.
I think it's got something to do with oil. I think he gets it to a certain temperature, and even though you don't oil quench these blades, but I think it's got something to do with oil. I could be wrong though. I don't either, Donnie. I did learn. I had a lot of warpage in my last batch, like nearly every knife. And for those of you who were watching me heat treat, if you'll remember, I had my plates out on the table, laid flat, and I would lay the knife down, then put the other plate on top of it, then put some weight on it. And I was talking to Brian Kim about it, and I was like, do you think they warped because I didn't have all that clamp pressure? He's like, well, the clamp pressure helps. He said, but the reason they warped, he's like, the second you laid that knife on that first piece of aluminum,
It starts heat sinking.
it started pulling the heat
Right.
out of that side of the blade. He's like, it immediately warped. I was like, dude, it's only like a 2-second gap. He said, that's more than enough. He said, the fact that the plates didn't contact the knife at the exact same time is why you got that warpage. So this time, I fixed my issue with the vise, and I've used the vise. I haven't had a single warp blade.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause you got to think when you put something that hot on to a direct heat sink, it's going to instantaneously start sucking up that.
Well, Donnie, keep in mind, in all honesty, now my zero warpage and your zero warpage are two different things. With a fixed blade, if somebody can look at it and not see a warp, and I can lay it on marble and it don't tink tink tink, that's no warpage. You're gonna do it. You're gonna put a run out gauge on it. That's two different levels of warp or no warp for what I do and what you do. There's no reason for me to need to run out dial.
So Shane, we don't have to run a live. We can do something like numbers.
Yeah, we're gonna do the numbers game. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
Let's just do it right now.
Let's do it.
Hang on, I'll text. Do it. You text me the number right now.
There's a private chat thing right there at the top right.
He can text it to me too. That way I got proof of it. I can show it when it's done. Just text me any number. I knew you were going to say that, Donnie. We've had that conversation before. My idea of no warpage and your idea of no warpage, two different things. Jackass. A number. All right. Good enough. All right, guys. There's only 23 people in here. So just post up a number between 0 and 100. Closest without going over wins. Tie will go to whoever guessed that number first. No knife fight. What's up, Derek? Guess a number between 0 and 100. Put it in the chat. We're giving away a Ellis Industrial t-shirt and a nice Ellis Industrial stainless thermal cup.
Kyle, you can play too if you want.
No, I'll let somebody in the chat have a chance at it. I appreciate it, though.
Donnie, you a little high, buddy. I said between 0 and 100.
Between 1 and 100, 123.
I'm surprised you didn't shout 10.
Hot damn 10.
Yeah. Shit, 447. Donnie's probably like me. I own about 4 of those thermal cups. But to be honest with you, guys, when I drink, like when I get ready to drink something, I'm going to drink 32 ounces of it in 30 seconds.
I'm the
I
same way.
guzzle everything. So I don't need something that keeps it cold.
I go through, I bet, 10 of these a day of water. I might pee twice.
Right.
You
know? Yeah. Well, if you haven't entered yet, you can stop. There's a winner already. I apologize. I just don't want you to waste your time because somebody's already hit the number dead on. So
Dead nuts.
yeah, and like I said, even if you guess the same number, whoever posted it first wins. And I don't think anybody had posted it before that.
I still forget
So,
this chat's over here.
Giveaway is over. Somebody already won it. I'll toss in one of Patina's Rosies and Maddie's Arias too. That's pretty good of you, Stevie, because you won. You sure did. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, Stevie's going to win this giveaway because that's his favorite number.
Is it?
That's something
Stevie
to
is
do
my
with,
favorite number
that's
too.
something to do with Terrence McKenna and the meaning of the universe. I don't know. So Stevie wins.
I wore
Stevie wins
42
an
all
Ellis
through
Industrial T-shirt.
sports.
He wins an Ellis Industrial stainless cup, one of Patina's Rosies, and Maddie's Arias. Dude, that's like a $2,000 giveaway. That's awesome. Stevie, just send your information to Ryan, Patina, and Maddie, and I'm going to let you sweat collecting all that shit.
Hey, I tell you what, I'll send you this stuff. You send me Maddie's Arias.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Dude,
Well,
I'm not
congratulations,
going to talk about it on the live tonight, Ryan. But sometime you need to have a conversation with Stevie about his first Arias.
About his what?
His first Arias. That's all I'm going to say. You get a chance just to have a conversation with Stevie about his very first Conning Arias. It's hilarious. A Spyderco Roadie. I think he meant Rosie. Yeah, anytime you see somebody playing the numbers game, if they guess 42, Stevie's going to win that shit. He gets 42 every time.
I didn't know that. That's my favorite number too. Like that.
Yeah.
I wore it all through sports.
Yeah.
Stovey was so nice to donate that Arias.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and tell it since other people don't know. When Stevie first got into the knife community, like at that point in time, everybody's grail was a Conning Arias. So Stevie got him one. Dude, he was so proud of it, man. He was showing it off all the time on live streams. And he calls me one day. I think he was out of state. I know he wasn't. He was on the interstate. And he stopped at a rest area to take a leak and came back to his truck and realized he had left his truck unlocked. And somebody at the rest area stole his Conning Arias.
The thing about it is, they probably had no clue what they were stealing.
That's the sad part. That's what Stevie was talking about. It sucks that they probably sold it at a pawn shop for $50.
Right.
Yeah.
And the pawn shop knew.
But let me tell you how dedicated Stevie was. He went home and fucking bought another one. And now he don't even own it.
My man.
He sold it since.
That's so cool, man. Oh, Stevie.
Yeah, that does sucks, man. I hate a fucking thief. Ain't nothing in this world I hate more than a thief. Because I've been stole from, and guys, when I talk about growing up poor, I mean I grew up fucking dirt poor. And the thoughts of somebody taking what, because I had to work hard for everything I had. And the thoughts of somebody taking my stuff just drives me crazy.
I mean, that's the story we got. He very well could have been paying off Sharp Guy at the Glory Hole.
Yeah, he could have been.
At the truck stop.
Yeah. Look at the mad faces in the chat. He doesn't even like us to talk about it.
Oh, Lot Lizard.
Yeah. Oh, Lot Lizard got his Arias. The only knife I've had stole was a Spyderco Manix 2XL with Flytanium carbon fiber scales on it. And let me tell you, dude, Ryan, you know where the Gentleman's Club is here in town. You know that area. I was working there, and I made damn sure I locked my truck up every night. Just so happens this particular night when I get there, the only parking spots that are left are the ones off the cameras. Like when you get past the building on that left-hand side, that like from the building back, there's no camera footage. I had to park. There's the only parking spot left. Locked my truck up, but we tossed a guy that flat out told us he was going to go get his gun and he was coming back. You'd be shocked how many times we get told that. So when he said that, because we're not legally allowed to carry a firearm as security. But when somebody tells me they're going to come back and shoot me, so I go out to my truck a little bit frantic and get my pistol and put it in my waistband and come back in and forgot to lock my doors back. They got in my truck. They opened my AR-15 case, took the AR-15 out, dumped all the magazines into the floor. There was like 8 magazines in that gun case. They're all laying in the floor. They tossed my whole center console, left a QSP Pelican, and took the Mannix 2. And when I was talking to the head of security, we were talking about it, and he was talking about people that he thinks might have done it. And I was like, no, dude, it wasn't him. He's like, how do you know? I was like, because it was a white guy. So how do you know it was a white guy? I was like, because white guy's the only one that would have left the Chinese knife and took the Spyderco. So, black guy wouldn't know the difference. I don't know any. There's very few, but I don't know any of them that would know the difference. But yeah, I always have an AR-15 in my truck. But the reason they didn't mess with AR-15 is because they were out for some petty theft. And when you go to stealing firearms, that's a whole different ball game you playing in there. They didn't want none of that heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a car stolen from me, whole car.
Really?
Yep. I had it's a 93 Fox body Mustang.
Yeah.
And when we went to get insurance, my insurance rates went up. I don't know. But we were selling it, or my parents were selling it, and they set it out on the side of the road. And we had some guy come up from Aniana to buy it. We went to pick it up. There was nothing but it was gone.
Wow.
And do you remember Blake Ashley by any chance?
Blake Ashley.
Yeah, he wasn't ever out in the bar scene or anything.
I don't think so.
But he calls me one night and said, "Hey, I was really drunk riding 4-wheeler up on the mountain." He said, "I think I come across your car out in the middle of the woods." I said, "What?" He said, "It was a black Mustang. It had for sale wrote on the passenger and driver's side windows." I was like, "That's got to be it." But he was like, "I was so drunk I couldn't tell you how to get back to it." I'm like, "Well, fine, whatever." So I had a friend that was a pilot, and we just flew up and down the mountain.
Yeah.
In the area he told me they were in, and we spotted it. And that car was stripped down. I'm talking, that had custom seats. The seats were gone, sunroof gone, front quarter panels gone.
Was that in Gadsden?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was up on Knockaloo Mountain. Where we found it.
Yeah. I was just.
Do you know where Pippin's Pond is?
Oh yeah, dude.
It's back in there.
It was probably Shane's relatives.
It may have been Shane.
No,
I was going to say, it's probably his family.
But,
Shane probably sitting there laughing like, "Hey, I got that fat fucker."
Yeah, Pippin's Lake was my stomping grounds, dude. Not only is it great fishing, it's also a great place to take chicks.
Yeah, and stolen cars.
Yeah, because
So-
you can get back in there and hide it.
Bro, we don't know how he got it back there. They had to have drug it back there.
That all leads into my next story. When we rode dune buggies out there, Jeep Hill, Big John, and all that.
Yeah,
dude, we'd find Honda Accords at the end of a trail that we were proud to make it down in dune buggy. You know what I mean? Dude, them little white boys from the Mill Village, they will find a way to get your shit out in the middle of the woods and strip it apart.
I know, man.
There's a whole gang of them that they stole everything. And that's part of the problem, because the strip club's what? A mile from the Mill Village?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time up there at Big John Jeep Hill.
I was out there every weekend.
Yeah.
But I didn't like most of that group wanted to ride out there, build a fire, drink beer till they was drunk and go home. I went out there to ride. I just ride those same trails over and over, do it a different direction. Just what I love to ride out there, man. I've climbed all that shit. Every path up Jeep Hill, every path up Big John, Dog Hill, all of them. And it's a shame that young people don't, they don't have that opportunity anymore.
They don't have that place anymore to do it. Like Hines Road, all that stuff it's not what it used to be. You
Yeah.
know? I grew up pretty much in the Mill Village. My grandparents lived there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was where I learned how to ride motorcycles, four-wheelers, all that stuff.
Yeah, I actually moved to the Mill Village because of my obsession with riding out there. So that way I could come home from work, just hop in I had a Fugitive frame with an 1835 on it. I just hop in it. I lived on Mitchell Street, which is a street right in front of the fire department. So I'd hang a left the fire department 1 block. I was in the woods. Yeah, there I rode everything out there. I went through the quad phase, the dirt bike phase, dune buggy phase. When I
Back
say
then,
dune buggies, I'm not talking about those manic fiberglass body. These were just, they weren't homemade. They were kits, but these were just 1.5-inch tube frame hill climbing buggies. And then from that, we went to rock crawler trucks. And then we had to start that's about the time we had to start traveling to go ride. Luckily, that's only, I hate to say this because there's nothing good about what happened to Kentucky and Tennessee as far as the coal mines go. But, all those coal mining towns that when the coal mines moved out and everybody was fucking dirt poor, they started opening off-road vehicle parks on all those old coal mining roads. And I thought it was really great because the city and the state, they were trying to build some type of economic infrastructure there. They made it legal where like you can drive your Polaris side by side on the streets up there. Like you can just drive them on the road. You can go to the drive-through in them, whatever. And now that's like their biggest source of income is tourism from people from all the surrounding states coming there because you got to figure, dude, all that coal was cut out of the sides of mountains. So those mountains make great hill climbing trails. I always thought that was pretty cool. And they're full every weekend. The thing I don't understand is why people buy one. Why would you buy, dude, a good Polaris side by side now? Like if you want a 1,000cc turbo, it's like $35,000.
They're outrageous.
But for $350, you can rent one for the day. Well, think about like a guy like you, Ryan. How many days out of the year do you think you would have available to go ride?
I'm not going to have 1 or 2, maybe.
Right. So you spend $700 a year renting one,
Right?
Versus $35,000 you had to pay for it. Then you're losing money the whole time you own it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Got to pay to fix it.
Right. You rent it. You pay for the insurance. Have you a good time that day. Go home. You ain't got to have no trailer. Like you can literally drive your Hyundai Sonata up there and rent a side by side and go ride.
Yeah, puppy.
Yeah. I can't believe how expensive. When those things first came out, dude, they were like $12 grand.
Yeah.
Top of the line one. And then when they got popular, they instantly shot to $30,000. Dude, that's a new car. Of course, I mean, in all fairness, you are buying a car. They've got fucking heat and air conditioning and everything else in them now. But, the turbocharged 3-cylinder engine.
The thing that I don't get, I think is stupid, is those $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 tricycles or trikes out there that are.
Well, that's for old people like me who want to ride motorcycles, but we're too old and don't have a good enough balance to do it.
The price of
What it all boils down to, though, Kyle, is it gives them something to bond with other men and hang out and talk about. That's all it's good for.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. For one thing, like any kind of vehicle, like paying that much for them is because as soon as you drive it,
Outcast blank. This is where I get my scale materials. I don't know what it is.
Shane, don't.
Shane.
God, it's only $75.
I swear to God.
But that's 5 sets of scales. So that's $15 a set. Dude, I can't buy G10 for that. And that's beautiful. but I'm not gonna. I've got plenty right now. That I really can't afford it.
You're going to tell me tomorrow. I ordered that.
The great thing is, once he's made something and he knows how, I can always have him make me some later on.
I've also got a bunch of black walnut. I need to bring
the difference between his epoxy work and mine. The reason I have to do mine in layers is because he's not using epoxy resin. He's using polyurethane resin. So he can mix all those colors together. And when he pours some of it, when it reaches 120 degrees, he can pour the next color and they will bond, but they won't mix. So that's how he gets those really crisp, clean lines to make those designs. I can buy it too. It's not even more expensive. I just don't know enough about using it yet. But he makes some amazing stuff.
Hey, I was serious earlier. Let's make some scales with my. It's going. I don't have one, but I know somebody that does have one. It has a like a CNC for wood.
You actually wouldn't have to use a CNC, dude. If you what's the thinnest circular saw blade you can get?
I don't even know, man.
I mean, if you had a super thin circular saw blade, you could
But
just
I mean, that's pretty.
on it. Yeah.
You I ain't gotta have a You know what? What if we just did the sprocket?
We'd figure it out.
You know?
What are you talking about with the circular saw blade?
What I was talking about earlier, like you take a block of wood, you measure out, your distances for those brass frets.
He's talking about his logo. Oh, he's talking about something different. He's talking about his logo.
Right. Yeah, we were talking about two different things. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean your typical curve's 1/8 inch, but you can get thinner than that, but not by a lot. You're usually looking at probably
1/8 would be fine. Then I could just get.
I think I've seen them as thin as a 16th.
I was going to say they're probably just slightly above a 16th.
Yeah, I don't know how. You wouldn't be able to go very deep with it. I imagine that at a 16th, it's going to warp when it starts getting high. Now, I don't know. I've never used one. So, 1/8 is about as thin as I go.
You can do thin curves like on
a bandsaw.
Like, well, no, but I was saying like on a 10-inch for like a cabinet saw or a table saw, because then if you're underpowered, it'll cut through material better.
You're right. I didn't think about that.
So the kerf won't be as nearly as wide, so it's not putting pressure on it. Yeah. So for underpowered, it's better. But
yeah, you're right about that. I didn't think about that. Kyle's always got the answers.
Yeah. Todd Carr says you can get them 1/16 for a mini saw. That would be fine.
Yeah.
That way, you've got a nice straight line. All you got to do is mark it, hit it, because you're only going to cut them a 1/16 of an inch deep. Then I just take a 1/16 brass stock and epoxy down into it to make it a fret.
Well, you could do that. I mean, technically, you could do that. Just set up stop blocks and do that on a miter saw, because that's going to be 1/8 inch thick blade too, and then just move it down your distance you want to, and just have a depth gauge stop to it. So you just plop it in, move the next one, plop it in, move the next one.
Yep.
Or find a donor guitar and just actually make the scales out of the neck.
Just buy some cool shit from Outcast Blades. You know damn well I'll spend more than $85 making those scales when it's all said and done. Hell, I'll spend $40 driving to your shop.
You're going. Javon's going to end up with $1,000 fixie.
Yeah. Oh boy.
The only thing that if you're not cutting all the way through it, you're only doing it for a stop cut, then you could do it with anything. That's why I was saying a stop block with a depth gauge on a miter saw would be.
Yeah, it'd literally be.
My miter saw has a depth stock on it.
Right, exactly.
I can set it. I see what you're saying. That's actually probably the best way we could do that, Shane. Like what he's saying. If
I don't know. Todd, I mean, I'll take Todd Carr's word for it. He says a bandsaw is probably best. He does a lot of woodworking, but I don't even know we may do all this and it might not work out. I don't know how it's going to transition when I
That's gonna if
contour
that's
the
what you'll
edges.
need to figure out is how you may want to shape your I don't know if you do that. You need to figure out how you're going to be shaped. That's going to determine how deep we need to go with your cut.
Right.
You know. Now we could, in theory, if you can find flat enough stop, like what the easiest way in my mind would be like what Kyle was talking about, kind of the way that I do the cutting boards. We can put it in sections,
Right.
and then when you shape it, it just looks like an inlay. I mean,
Right.
essentially it is.
Right. So that's what I think. Like when I crown the edges,
Right.
if I just use like sticks of it, well, whatever I cut off those edges, it's just going to abruptly end there instead of actually running all the way through.
Right. And see,
Yeah,
if
you're
you
right.
go all the way through, it don't matter how much of a kerf you put on it, it'll fold with it.
Meathead hasn't heard of flat tooth blades, apparently.
Yeah.
And he can't spell eBay.
You're right, though. I think because we would have to contour the handle, it would be way better if we layered it. We just did it in layers, stacked it, glued it, pressed it. Yeah.
That's going to be the easiest way, but I don't know. And really, you're only talking
I
about.
think it's going to be the best way.
You're really only talking about what, a half inch, if at the most. Actually, that's thick.
Yeah, we're only
We're
talking
about a quarter inch.
We're only talking about an eighth of an inch thick scales.
An eighth of an inch.
That's what I was talking about. You put half inch. If you put quarter inch thick,
I'll
scales,
send you a link tonight. You can get brass inlay.
Yeah, if you put quarter inch thick scales on this, dude, they look like this. They look too thick because the knife is so small. On a big knife, say this knife, you could put quarter inch thick on, but it's just going to be an 1/8 inch thick.
Okay.
So
we've got. I mean, you can get brass inlay that's an 1/8 of an inch thick. I think they make it a quarter of an inch thick.
it says apparently you wear saw blades where you are.
Apparently, my machines are set up better than yours.
Always smartassery.
We had with a depth stop on my miter saw, I can also slide it.
Right, that's the point.
I can set it to where it cuts the same depth all the way through. But I see what you're talking about. Now, if we did just a chop saw that only went up and down, then yes, it would have a concave. Yeah. Or like what you said, we could set the depth on a table saw and with a sled and run it through as well. But and I think it would be safer and easier to use the miter saw.
Yeah, I mean, if you did a zero clearance or if you had a sled on your table saw, you could do it, but it'd be the easiest to do on the bands. Or on the
y'all can keep
miter saw.
Y'all can keep.
But I still think segments would be the best.
I'm going to segment it, yeah, because I want the brass to show through the bevel or the.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
you want it to contour with scales.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that'd be that hard.
It'd be easier.
I actually think I have some. I think Toyota and Tools actually gave me a piece of brass, but it's kind of a thick. Yeah, I may see if I can find some a little thinner. That's probably going to be a pain in the ass to cut. I'll just run it through Meathead's planer.
There you go.
I don't use that. That planer scares me. I turn it on.
They're loud.
And hear how loud it is. I'm scared to stick anything in. I'm afraid it's going to shoot it out the other end at 1,000 miles an hour, or absolutely destroy itself. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't mess with that thing.
They're loud. The first time I used one, it scared me too. I thought I was doing something wrong.
The worst is still the router. The router is still the scariest freaking tool in the shop.
They may have loaned me like this $15 Harbor Freight router that he owns.
Hell no.
I did a farm sink in the kitchen, so the sink is under the counters. So we had it all mounted. I had to cut the OSB out, to expose the sink. And I was like, well, all I got to do is get one of those router bits that's got the little wheel on it, so when it touches the sink, I can just follow the sink. And it did. It worked perfect. But I was not prepared. Dude, I turned that thing. I'm telling you, man, I've watched people use routers. That little fucking $15 Harbor Freight piece of shit that's made out of all clear plastic, that son of a bitch spun at 5 million RPMs, dude. It literally took me 4 seconds. I just went, it was done. That sink was slapped full of fucking wood powder.
And if I do recall, I remember you telling me you were going the wrong direction too. So everything was chipping out there like crazy.
And I thought I even told you I brought your router back. I did not. I could have swore I brought your router back to you, dude, but I just found it under the in the cabinets the other day. I didn't get that back to you.
How long have you had it?
Oh, well over a year.
It's yours now.
It's mine now. Well,
hey, the router, you can have such cool effects to anything with a router.
Yeah.
But you can also screw a lot of stuff up with it really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got better routers. That's why he loaned me that one.
Yeah. For $15, you got your money's worth.
He knew I was going to kill myself with it, destroy it, or never bring it back. So that's why I got the $15
for a year. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But if you're out for pure speed in a router, now you can throw adjustment out the fucking window because that's not precise at all. If you want just pure speed, dude, those Harbor Freight routers have no limit.
We need Shane to write a review on Harbor Freight for this. I want to see that.
I do.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I know, Meathead, and I need that table router. I need you to hook me up with that.
It'll be a whole lot easier to chamfer your scales on.
Yeah, and actually
and to use a flush trim bit just to get them even and then chamfer them.
Yeah, I got a flush trim bit. And that $15, I got a $50 flush trim bit.
No. You're not doing that by hand. I'm talking about on the table.
Right. That's what I'm saying, though, but I've already got the bit because I borrowed a $15 router and had to buy a $50 bit to put in it.
Router bits are expensive.
Yeah, especially start getting good ones like Whiteside and all those.
Whiteside's what I get, and it's outrageous.
Bits and
router bits.
Coating. Yes, but the way they're heat treated, man, they last for forever.
I just bought the Bosch from Lowe's. They're like $50 a piece.
Yeah. No, go to Whiteside.
Yeah, or go to Bits and Bits to get the ones.
Bits and Bits is what I ordered it from. Yeah.
Yeah, the Astra coating on them.
Yeah. They are. You're going to pay more for it, but they last for forever.
Yeah,
as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with it. I've got some flat bits, man, that I've had for a year, and that thing still eat.
I'll tell you this right now. If I had the money to buy the equipment, and I had the talent to do the work, I'd never make another knife. I just do what Blacktail Studios does. Because there's nothing on YouTube. There's nothing on YouTube I'd rather watch than to watch Cam at Blacktail Studios build anything. His dark sense of humor is fucking perfection. And
how he deals with trolls.
Yeah, I love that guy, man. That's the best channel on YouTube. I'd love to do that for a living, but
I haven't seen any videos from him recently. Have you?
But he only posts one a month, jackass.
Don't call me that, dickhole.
What's his name again?
Jackass.
Oh, I was like,
what's his channel name again?
Blacktail Studio.
Blacktail?
Yeah. I'll tell you, dude, you'll realize there's a transition on his channel. There's before Scott and after Scott. He hired, isn't that his name, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah. He hired this guy named Scott to be his cameraman and do his editing. But of course, he ends up helping him with the builds too. But the video quality difference from before Scott, it's hard to watch. It's hard for me to watch one of his videos before Scott.
I'm already subscribed to him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I love that dude.
I know you don't care for him as much, Shane, but I still like Chris from Four Eyes.
Yeah, Four Eyes.
He's got a good sense of humor, too. Real dry.
Don't get me wrong. He just doesn't like. When I finish one of his videos, I'm not thinking, man, I wish there was 10 more. But when I finish a Blacktail Studios video, I wish there was 10 more I could watch right then.
I just like his builds better. I like his style, design better.
Well, I think Cam even says that he's a better woodworker than him, right?
Oh, 100% he is. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Mills, it's Blacktail Studio. I don't know how to put links up, bud. I'm sorry. Blacktail Studios, younger, fit, bald-headed guy. I bet his wife is a lot of fun. She just strikes me as being very aggressive. Am I wrong, Kyle?
You seen the video when he did all different tabletops for her?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was not having it.
Yeah. She's a bit aggressive. Yeah. What we got here? Baseball bat, Louisville Slugger, Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, this was
Oh, is this a special one?
yeah, it's game used in the World Series. Sean Murphy.
Really?
Yeah.
All that pine tar.
Yep. It cracked.
Oh, that's all. I like it better because it's cracked.
Yeah.
What's
Got
that?
it.
What's that worth?
I picked it up in a trade
Less than he paid.
Come on, what's it
a
worth?
few weeks. Well, I paid a little bit with some game used cleats and
All right, what's it worth? If you had, if it was on the internet for sale right now, what would it sell for?
whatever somebody's gonna pay for it.
Yeah, but what would the asking price be?
I don't know. It'd be a few grand.
It'd be a few grand.
Yeah. Well, it being in the World
You know,
Series.
the one
game.
collectible
It being
you
in the
have-
World Series game, you're talking 8-9 grand.
Let me tell you the one collectible you have that I want the most. I want that LSU pitcher's cleats, just for the hopes that Livy Dunn hit on those cleats at some point.
Livy Dunn has stood on the toes of those cleats.
I want those cleats so bad. Palmer's in here. Palmer's, I think he's just turned 18. I introduced him to. No, I didn't introduce him to Livy Dunn. I'm sorry. I discovered Livy Dunn and realized that Palmer was following her, and we started having some conversations about it. But that's the most perfect rear end that has ever been put on a female.
Ryan,
Ever.
I used to have a set of cleats worn by Tom Browning in the Reds in the World Series.
You still got them?
No, I gave them away to my nephew.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's cool. All my stuff's probably gonna go to my nephew too.
I gave away most of my memorabilia. I still got some pretty cool stuff. I've got up in the storage. I've got I think I told you this about. There goes the floor.
Yeah, don't break it.
It's already broke.
I think I was talking about this with
He's into everything.
memorabilia. When my dad was working, we were down in Texas. He used to get a bunch of cool stuff from beer vendors. Well, he ended up getting a Willie Mays was on the cover. Remember the Sporting News, the big newspaper they used to do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real long, wide newspaper. Well, they did a Sporting News with Willie on the cover. Well, Willie had come through and he had him sign it and then he framed it. And that was one of the cool ones.
That's awesome.
I got some pretty rare golf stuff.
I was about to ask. I bet you've got some golf stuff.
Yeah.
Some really neat golf stuff. I went through a stage where I was buying a lot of Willie Mays stuff. I wasn't able to get my hands on any of his game use stuff, but I got a whole lot of memorabilia from him that's signed. And I'm glad I did when I did, because you can still get it relatively cheap.
Right.
But now that he's passed, of course it goes up.
Well, let's go back to those cleats. What would you charge me just to let me sniff the toe of them?
I think I've actually sold those cleats.
Have you really?
Yeah, somebody made me an offer. I more than doubled my investment on those.
He's doing pretty good in MLB, isn't he?
God, yes, he's the best in the MLB.
Oh, is he?
He got MVP this past year.
Oh,
If Spencer Strider could stay healthy, he would.
nobody cares about the MVP. I mean, he even said it. He's like, I rizzed up Lizzie, so there's that.
That's the reason he got MVP.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
He's
Travis
he's got an arm.
Travis
on him.
Kelce thinks he's the man because he landed Taylor Swift. He ain't got shit on that dude.
I'm not one bit even interested.
Taylor Swift is hideous.
Let me tell y'all something, dude. I'm telling y'all, mark my words, if they ever actually truly expose all these people involved in that Diddy thing, y'all know Taylor Swift's part of that, right? She slept her way to fame. She's part of that whole.
I don't know if you saw the news yesterday or not, but the key witness victim number 3 has gone missing. Is not going to testify starting this week in that case.
Yeah,
He's gonna miss him.
Well,
like
I don't think it's a he, but
Or she.
yeah.
We all thought
There's
Cat
no
Williams was
surprise there.
crazy. We all thought Cat Williams was crazy. Come to find out, he was right about all of it.
I never thought he was crazy.
And what pisses me off is everybody's using this now to like make fun of Justin Bieber. Dude, he was a 13-year-old child.
Yeah.
That's fucking disgusting that they did that. And it's disgusting that people are now making fun of him for the things that he did to become famous. He was a child.
He was a kid.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, look at Corey Feldman, the shape that he's in now.
Dude, he's been screaming it for 30 years and nobody will listen.
And that's the reason he's as nutty as he is now is because of all the trauma.
Right. And who's the one person he'll tell you that he was safe with? Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Because
have y'all seen any of his concerts?
Michael Jackson didn't do any. I saw it live in Birmingham.
Corey Feldman's?
Yeah. He opened for Limp Bizkit in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool Fred and them are letting him come out there like that.
Ed hit it on the head right there.
That all those kids that made those accusations against Michael Jackson all did a documentary saying that none of it happened. Their parents
I agree with you,
lie to get money. But like the media doesn't care. They still just they won't clear his name. They still just let everybody believe that he was a child molester when he wasn't. He was a weirdo for sure.
Well, there's no news in him there's no ratings in him not being a molester.
Yeah, but it's just not fair.
Oh well, yeah, you're exactly right. It's not fair.
I mean, he's still got family members that have to live under that cloud when none of it ever happened. If it had been one, but no, it was all of them. They all came forward and said it was never inappropriate. Our parents, literally, those parents got together as a group and were like, "Hey, we could get millions off of this guy." And
yeah,
kids lie.
But I will say, I don't know that he didn't touch the monkey though.
Yeah, I can't guarantee that either. he might have rubbed that monkey's butthole.
He trained the monkey to rub his.
Yeah. You say that, Paul, but here's the problem. He don't have any money. I know it's weird that I know this much about Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's broke. You want to know why Justin Bieber's broke?
Yep.
He never collected all that money. Diddy collected all that money, and there ain't shit he can do about it because Diddy's got all that video, and he don't want that video coming out. Even though he was a victim, he was 13 years old. Who wants that to go public? He's never had all that money. None of them have. None of those people were ever really rich.
Well, have you heard?
I mean, they were rich enough.
Talk about all his money.
About who?
Tupac, his mom, talk about all his money. Like he never got any money or anything. Yeah. He wasn't rich.
Well, yeah, because Suge didn't pay anybody.
Yep.
How that man is still walking around is amazing.
Yeah. It is funny now, though. He's become relevant again because he's in prison doing interviews. He's like, I fucking told y'all. I told y'all 30 years ago what was going on. Y'all wouldn't listen to me.
Who, Suge?
Yeah, Suge's been calling P. Diddy out for 30 years. And but because it came from Suge and he was such a gangster, nobody wanted to listen. 50 Cent's been telling people this shit.
I know 50. Like I believe 50.
It's weird.
I don't like Suge. I think he's a thug. Like he's what those guys are what's wrong with the 90s. You know, like the things they promoted, this and that for money. Like I don't like him. I don't agree with him. Like
right.
If that dude,
the culture they created was the most damaging thing to inner city children that's ever happened.
Oh,
they what was I going to say? Damn, I forgot. Yeah. Yeah. I remember now. What's weird though is how when you go back and you watch these interviews where they talk about it, they still all talked about it very kind of coded. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't just come out and say it. And I don't know if that was to try to prevent an all out war or what it was, but like they just danced around it. But now it all makes sense when you go back and watch it.
You remember the old cover of the Mace album where he's sitting there running his hands like this? He's like peeking around the corner and it has hands like this. Oh shit! I gotta find that. That's what Suge was doing in the background. Like, oh yeah, I know what's going on.
I think I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
Let me find it.
Now Diddy unalived Tupac. Now should well, there's just as much evidence to make it look like Diddy ended Biggie as there is that Suge did it, because
Biggie was broke too.
but Biggie was about to leave Death Row, and that's literally him
Bad
dying.
Boy.
Him dying is what blew. Yeah, he was about to leave Bad Boy. Him dying is what blew Bad Boy up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sucks that all these there had to be 30 years of victims before it all come out in the open.
See, here's the thing.
They've had that video.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Like my wife at her school or the high school that she was at, there's a bunch of gangbangers in there, and I don't get it. Like you're going to end up dead or in a prison cell. That's what living by that code does to you.
Well, I think those I don't think those
how
kids
is that intelligent any at all.
They've convinced those kids that they don't have any other option.
Yeah.
It's that or stay your broke ass in the projects the rest of your life. They've convinced them that's the only way.
Exactly, Ed. He didn't negotiate. He intimidated his way through the system.
Yeah. I mean, hell, he dangled Vanilla Ice off of a damn 8th floor balcony.
Well, you know what happened when he stepped into 50 Cent's studio?
Yeah, he turned around and left.
Yeah. 50 put a cigar in his mouth and said, "What y'all gonna do?"
Yeah.
He didn't back down from him and should have turned around and left. That was before anybody knew 50.
Well, that's because gangster recognizes gangster, I'm sure. And Suge knew he wasn't just fucking with some fake gangster.
Well, 50 was an actual real street gangster. He wasn't just acting one on TV.
Yeah.
Why the hell can I not find this freaking picture?
I just don't understand how they can take a particular politician and try to make anything he does or says seem to be a crime. But, still nobody's talking about the fact that 13-year-old girl that Diddy raped, that he did that with Jay-Z. Why is Jay-Z not getting talked about in all this?
Yeah.
I think there's something going on with Jay-Z and Beyonce too.
There always has been.
Yeah, I feel like there's some shady shit going on there too.
Oh yeah, dude, she was passed around with all of them. Busta Rhymes, all of them. And you know who in that lawsuit where they're talking about that Diddy and Jay-Z raped that 13-year-old, and there's an unnamed female that was in the room. You know who that unnamed female was, right?
Her?
J-Lo. So J-Lo sat there and watched them do that. That's
You
why
don't talk about my J-Lo like that.
That's the truth.
That's my J-Lo.
That's why when all this started hitting the press, the FBI called Ben Affleck and was like,
she's not that much younger than them, though.
Yeah, and she was like, she wasn't the 13-year-old.
Oh, okay. I was going to say she's not. Okay.
The FBI literally called Ben Affleck and was like, "Hey man, we just want to give you the heads up that the shit's about to hit the fan," and he fucking put her ass on the curb because he don't want to be part of it.
You got me trying to find that album cover now, Kyle.
I can't find it. I've done.
Have y'all seen the old videos of Tupac before he became famous?
Yeah,
God, he was so gay.
he was.
So gay. And nobody wants to admit that their hero gangster was bisexual.
They don't want to admit the real reason why they sagged their pants either.
She plays the Latina card only when it's convenient, telling everyone to go vote for Biden, crying, shaking my damn head. The only one that really breaks my heart, it may break your heart that J-Lo was involved, but the one that breaks my heart is that there's a pretty good chance that Mark Wahlberg was involved. And I'm a huge Mark Wahlberg fan. That's going to destroy me to find out he was involved in all that.
And now it may be a cover up, but he's like all for everybody getting exposed now.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think it's.
It's 100% possible that he was at the parties, but that doesn't mean he stayed afterwards and involved himself in all the other. So it's going to be interesting to see.
You heard me.
Do what?
Wu-Tang is forever, said.
It's still a shit.
Wu-Tang is forever, my friend.
He said Wu-Tang is for the children.
It is for
It
the
must
children.
be for the children because I can't listen to it. I want to like it so bad, dude, but there's just so much better out there to me.
I'm not the biggest Wu-Tang fan, but those guys are entertaining as all get out.
Yeah.
They were a bunch of characters.
Only a big white boy from Alabama would say Wu-Tang Clan was entertaining as all get out.
Raise hell, praise Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Another one that was involved.
They were a bunch of cartoon characters, is what they were. I think they actually made a cartoon.
Sadly, my favorite rapper was involved in it too, and that was Ludacris. That breaks my heart too. I've always been a Ludacris fan.
I like Luda.
He sold out a long time ago.
Yeah, but he sold out for $200 million. 20 movies at $10 million apiece. All that was done through Diddy.
Yeah, but what's he have of it?
That's the question. Because so far, none of these other people have ever collected that money.
Kyle, are you sure it wasn't a magazine cover?
Maybe it was. I'm going through. I'm searching. I can't find it anywhere.
My people all love the Killer Bees. I do still say though the best rap album ever made. Like you could mash play and not have to skip a single song. Every song on the album was bangers. Call me whatever you want for saying this, but Beastie Boys' "License to Ill" was the best rap album ever made.
It was good.
I don't know, and I'm not giving the Beastie Boys all the credit for it, because nearly anything Rick Rubin touched, he turned to gold. I don't think that album would.
I listened to an interview with them one time, and they were talking about they never intended to be famous.
They weren't even rappers. They were
exactly like they were literally just messing around with microphones and stuff like that. Next thing I knew, they had a $1 million record deal and tour in America. And
yep. But there's people that say that Rick Rubin ripped them off too.
Yeah, they say
artists that say that they didn't.
But you got to think when they get that big money, that contract, they have to pay the record company back for the tour and and the personnel and food, everything. Like it's at the end of the day, after taxes and stuff like that, those guys are broke.
I think Paul's Boutique was a little more artistic, a little more artisan, so that's probably why you like it better. But I think License to Ill was more easily digested for everybody.
I'll still take
Paul's Boutique's kind of like your that fancy soda that you think's better, and it's really not. Artisanal, yeah. Paul's Boutique was an artisanal album. License to Ill was just Coke Classic.
I'll tell you a more modern album that I think is extremely underrated, flying under the radar. and that's Wayne Atha or Yellow Wolf's Sometimes Why album he did with Shooter Jennings. Yeah, Shooter.
It's so weird too, dude. Because
That's just a Gadsden thing.
Well, here's the thing. It's it is, and I don't like a lot of his music, but the more he evolves, it's turning more into art than rap.
He's very artistic.
He is.
Yellow Wolf is not.
The Sometimes Why album is not rap. It's country. Well, I think it's like a mix of country rock, southern rock type thing.
Yeah.
But he did it very well. Like I'll turn that album on and play. Well, I skipped the first song. I don't like it, but I'll play it. And there's one other song in there I don't like, but the rest of them, I just think they're really good.
I don't know if you heard that story, Ryan, but me and two buddies of mine drove Yellow Wolf to he had a gig at the Nick in Birmingham, which is typically a hard rock venue. And it was like a week later when Marshall Mathers called him and signed him to Shady Aftermath. Like he didn't have a ride to Birmingham. Yeah. Like that dude grew up broke.
Oh, he did for sure.
He earned everything he's got for sure. But I agree, not all his music is my style.
It's not, but
I
do support him. He's a local boy, so.
Yeah. And it's weird because this town doesn't support him.
Oh, I know.
After he made it big, he came back here and did a concert. I think 15.
Yeah, he out there at Green Valley.
No, that was a video shoot. I was there for that. He did a concert at Center Stages. Didn't even fill Center Stages, that little bitty venue.
And I don't get it either. Like my brother graduated with him and said that he, of course he was really weird in school and stuff like that, but everybody was always cool with him.
You know? He's also very, very nonviolent.
Yeah.
I've got a text message somewhere in my phone from him where he's talking about that if he gets cockroaches in his house, he'll move because he won't kill them. He don't believe in killing anything.
But when he got high and drunk on stage, he'd destroy the stage.
Yeah.
Try to fight his fans.
Well, he ain't scared to fight.
No, he's not.
And he ain't much. There ain't much to him. But he ain't scared. I want to show you something.
Exactly, Ed. Trunk music, dude. You rattle the windows out of your house.
Yeah, he got some bass notes for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite still by far is probably either Equimini or AT Aliens. I mean, yeah, from cover to cover.
Yes. That's an oldie but goldie.
Dude, that's that's my favorite group of all time.
I forget about it, and I actually listened to it not long ago. I actually used it in one of my shorts. Use a song off of one of those.
This is Yellow Wolf music. This is Yellow Wolf's very first music video. Oh, meathead. He was in Yellow Wolf's very first music video, the kicking video.
That's only the second time I've ever seen his face.
Yeah. He loves that. He loves that video because it reminds him of a different time. He was peeled out of his mind and during that video shoot.
One Moon, I hope you get feeling better, buddy.
Absolutely.
What's wrong with One Moon?
He broke his arm, I think.
He what?
I think he broke his arm.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm excited about my T-shirt, though.
And crackheads make it impossible for somebody that actually needs a pain medicine to get it.
That pisses me off so bad.
It does. Which, I mean, I don't personally want them, because I like them too much. So I can't take them.
It just makes no sense, though, that if you're legit in that much pain and need them, that you can't get them because other people abuse them.
You're exactly right.
That makes no sense.
I wish there was a way.
What if we all just started abusing insulin? Would they take
Well,
insulin away from diabetics?
Well, I mean, technically, it kind of does get abused nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it Ozempic and stuff like that? Insulin?
Or just the
Right,
people
top
who
of
use
insulin
it
or
eat
something?
whatever they want.
Do what, Kyle? I'm sorry.
I said that are the people who just take it and then you eat whatever they want, and that's technically abuse. I mean, you're not using it for what you need it
Now,
for.
I know bodybuilders abuse it.
Yeah.
Because it cuts them up.
Yeah, all you big time bodybuilders are literally fucking walking chemical beakers. Like
They
inject
are.
themselves with everything, man.
Little
I
sugar
was really proud to see Stephen Hensley finally figure that shit out and get himself healthy. I remember he was at the shop. He had just won Mr. Alabama. We were standing there talking one day. I said something about running, and he said, "Shane, I was 380 pounds at the time." He's like, "You could outrun me." So what do you mean? He's like, "I can't run across this parking lot." So the minute I start doing anything, all
His
this
heart was in bad shape.
all this muscle just sucks up all the oxygen out of my blood. He's like, "This muscle's good for nothing." But he started like doing those Tough Mudder competitions, and he's gotten more into like usable muscle and endurance now. He'll probably live a lot longer because of it. Because that dude was injecting everything to be Mr.
Yeah, those bodybuilders really aren't all that strong. They're full of water. They do like low weight, high reps.
Yeah.
And we're like power lifters. You see those guys, they look almost fat.
Yeah. Yeah, Eddie Hall's not that impressive looking, but he might only do one rep, but it's fucking 1,500 pounds.
Yeah.
What's that one dude's name? The big dude, Mark something or another.
Mark.
Yeah, bodybuilder.
Mark Gunter?
No. This guy's like set all these records. I mean, he was big like in the 90s and 2000s.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his last name either, though. Mark. He's all over Gold's Gym. I think they sponsored him.
Yes, Mark Henry. Thank you, Cheetah.
No, Mark Henry wasn't a bodybuilder. Mark Henry was
Is that who I'm thinking of?
weightlifter. Mark Henry's a black guy and looks fat, but he was one.
Yeah,
he was one of those
That's who I was talking about. Mark Henry.
Okay.
He was strong as all get out. I wasn't saying he was cut up or whatever, but I'm saying he was strong as all get out.
Yeah, and Derek's right. It was Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman was the bodybuilding champion.
Okay. I was thinking Mark Henry.
Mark Henry was the weightlifting champion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Todd, I can tell you somebody who, if they had trained their whole life, could have probably competed in that, and that's Dustin from OCD for EDC. He's a lot like Mark Henry. He's just got that silverback gorilla frame, strong as hell. But yeah, he was a wrestler. And it's that
gorilla
wrestler.
I've been seeing a lot of the 100 men versus gorilla thing. Is that real?
That's so stupid.
It's just something to make memes about. I do like the one though that is like
it's like the man versus bear thing.
I like the one that's like the gorilla defeated 90 men, and here are the last 10. It's like Brock Lesnar and John Jones and Francis Ngannou. Yeah.
I was really wondering, like, is this thing real? I mean, I haven't had time to dig into anything, so
it's just a what if.
I was like, it wouldn't surprise me with today's society if something that happened.
Luckily, it took over the whole. Would women rather be stuck in the woods with a grizzly bear or a man? So that went away, and now it's the grizzly silverback gorilla versus 100 men. And there's another one going around too. It's 100 Americans and 100 Brits locked in a room with no weapons. Who walks out? There's no doubt in my mind who wins that.
Well, it depends on what Americans you put in there.
Any American that's ever said "hold my beer."
Well, there's one thing that we don't take tea breaks, so that would probably give us a little bit of extra leg up.
We don't take what?
Don't say Cheerio.
Tea breaks.
Talking about cereal.
Right. Well, no, not just that, but I mean, the average Brit, they're pretty small. I don't know how that happened. Why our genetics changed in America we have so many big men, but big men in Britain aren't. They're kind of rare.
Well, big men anywhere is not a common thing.
Unless you're a gypsy.
Yeah.
I love watching them fight.
Which fight? Oh, Brad Pitt and
No. The old gypsy from over there. What's his nuts? The heavyweight.
oh, the boxer,
Yeah.
Tyson Fury.
Yes, I'm bad with names. Sorry.
I thought you was talking about the fight in Snatch.
No. I'm talking
Brad
about.
Pitt plays
Yeah.
a gypsy. Now that was an impressive fight too. I mean, it wasn't real, but
I'll tell you.
I'd wear him out with
Crispy
American
critter.
spotted dick.
Tell you who wouldn't lose. One guy who wouldn't lose to the gorilla. Ron Perlman.
You think so?
Well, because they'd look at each other like the Spider-Man meme, just pointing at each other.
Yeah. That dude has a very odd facial structure. For sure. But he looks like something went wrong. Something went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Fucking crispy. I'd wear him out with some American spotted dick.
Hey, wait! It is. Yeah, it's after 12 o'clock on the East Coast. Happy birthday, Crispy!
Hey, Crispy, happy birthday, man.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Crispy.
You old bastard. Yes, Brian Shaw was massive too.
I have had an hour and a half of sleep since 4 p.m. yesterday.
I've had 2 hours.
I'm about to crash.
I was actually on a conference call last night from
We didn't even cover
11 p.m. to 3 a.m.
We didn't even cover tonight's topics. So next week we're going to talk about.
Didn't know
So
we
it's
had
your
topics here.
So it's your first time at Blade Show. I kind of want to talk about what to expect, what to look for, that type of thing for anybody that's making their first trip. That was the plan tonight, but then we got off on other subjects, and apparently I said something racist and offended somebody, but he'll be okay.
Well, what'd you say?
When I said that it was a white guy that stole my spider coat, somebody said dumb as fuck or whatever. But anyway, but the truth is, it was a white guy that stole my spider coat, so I was completely right.
Well, how dare you speak facts then?
Right. But it happens. And that's my point. I'm not wasting any more of my life dancing around other people's sensitivities.
Oy vey.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here sticking up for Michael Jackson. And I also said that 90% of everything stolen in Etowah County is by white kids from the Mill Village. So, but that's going to be it for me, y'all. I'm going to bed.
All right.
All right, Shane. I appreciate you having me, buddy. And
I'm
I'm
gonna call
glad
my
everything
daughter.
worked out.
I'm going to call my daughter and check on her, go to
Yeah.
bed, and go eat some lunch with her tomorrow.
I hope everything continues to be all right with her.
Oh, it's all going to be okay. It's just, she's got to. Everything in her life's about to change. She's about to have to be on her own, and it's going to be tough for a little while.
Sorry to hear
Waiting
that.
for the Native 6 to drop this summer. So, I'll be honest. I'm wondering if Stevie didn't lie to me too, just to add to your joke, but we'll see. We'll find out. All right, guys. I appreciate the amount of time y'all spend with me. Peace. Love y'all.